A book that made me happy. Okay. The Martian made me happy. For all the reasons I mentioned before. I liked the character. I thought his way of just trying to overcome the suckiness of being alone on a planet and just the trials that came up and him having to figure out how to survive, and then how, like, when things would happen and it would be like 10 steps back. He's like, okay. And he would kind of get down, but then he'd be like, okay, what do I got to do to keep going? I enjoyed it for that. And he just had some one-liners that were really great in there that I enjoyed. It's going to be a reread. It's going to be a while because I want some time, but that'll be a reread. Another book, and it's more of a series, is the Limoncello series. So that's because it talks about books, and it has a bunch of riddles and e-buses, these types of things in it. So I like trying to figure those things out and trying to figure out, guessing, like, the books that are being mentioned in the series. And like I said, I love Limoncello. He just, the way he responds to some things is like, that's funny. That's anyway. So that series has made me happy. Most beautiful book I bought or received this year. I kind of picked two, and hold on a second. I put them on the bottom of the stack. Mom brain. I saw the sticker on this. But that's okay. I picked two because they're both beautiful. They're very different, but they're both very beautiful. This first one I got at a secondhand store, a local secondhand store. It's The Complete Guide to the Magical World of C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia by Paul F. Ford. And I'm going to hold this here, but then I'm going to blow it up there. Okay. As you can see, it has different locations of Narnia on the cover, and I just think it's exquisitely done. It's very beautiful. It's simple, but it's got a lot going on there. I haven't come close to even reading this because it's very small print and a lot of pages with very small print. And it's just, it's basically like a dictionary. So if you look, it's like 9 names of Aslan. See Aslan's name. And then the next one's Northern Frontier. And it just gives a description. So that's basically what it is. And it has variances in the ending of Chapter 12, The Dark Island, and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So it has different things for the Narnia world. And so I just thought this would be interesting to have the next time I do read the Narnia series. My little heart is wanting to reread that series and Little Women, although the last couple books were rough for me. And I did that recently, but I really want to do Anne of Green Gables and Narnia. I have not read Narnia in forever. So that, anyway, my heart's wanting to that. This is the other one. It's Shaman's Crossing by Robin Hobb, and it's the first book in the Soldier Son trilogy. I know nothing about this book. The reason I got this book is I had gotten The Martian, and here's a close-up of it while I tell a story. I got a copy of The Martian and from the library, and I was reading it, and my daughter got a hold of it, and you know where it has the like front cover's kind of got a little slit, and then it has like an inside picture or something. Well, baby girl ripped that out, and she had like ripped the back page, and I think she got hold of the water bottle I used to fix her hair in the morning, and because it was all water damage across the house, so I bought a new copy of it because it's going to be way cheaper for me to buy the copy and pay for shipping than it was for the library to charge me for a new copy. I mean, they could have said, no, it's fine, we'll take it back, but I bought a new copy. So I try to find, hello. I try to find a seller, that sounds much better, on Pango that had The Martian plus another book I'd be interested in reading. Looked through many of them, and I came across this. I'm like, oh, haven't heard of this, and I really love Robin Hobb, so asked hubby, he was good with it. And with the 2 books, I bought plus ship, and I still paid less than what the library would have charged me. So, but I thought this was a really pretty. I just like the like rainbow thing going on here. You know, you have the red skies up here, kind of turn into the orange, and then the yellow, and the blue, green, and then the blues. I think it's very pretty. So that is my answer. And I haven't received any books this year, so I bought it. And what books do I need to read by the end of the year? Okay, I don't need to finish any particular books by the end of the year. These are books I would like to read by the end of the year. Some of them have very specific times on them, and others are just like, by the end of the year would be nice. But I don't need to finish any of these. Okay, let me see where to start. Okay, let's do with the next month. Okay, so October, I don't really, like, we may start doing Halloween because our daughter, she'll make such a cute, whatever she dresses up in, she's so dang cute. So we may dress her up and do some trick-or-treat. My husband said mostly for him to get the candy. I'm like, that's kind of evil, but okay. And I don't like super scary stuff, but, you know, a little spooky isn't bad, but I'm not, anyway. The first one is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. As you know, Biggest Chaz, one of my best friends, he loves Neil Gaiman. I'll keep holding this up. He's told me I should definitely read this book. He thinks I'll like it better than Ocean at the End of the Lane because I still don't understand the love for that book. I'm going to go ahead and read this, but as Chaz told me, Neil Gaiman has been accused of some not so good things recently. I have not read one article on it. Everything I know about it I've learned from him. And that creates a whole conversation of, do you still support people who have been accused of horrible things, or do you not? Do you read the book but despise what the author has done or what they've said or whatever? I bought this book years ago and it was at a secondhand store, so it doesn't really go to him. I don't know if what he's being accused of is true or not. If it is, he should pay consequences for that. Yeah, so I'm going to read it separate from the person. So there you go. This one, Biggest Chaz told me about years ago. Like, we had not talked for a while, and then we started talking again, and he had just read this book, and he's like, I think you would like it. I've seen a few other booktubers talking about this book. I've had this book for 3 years now, probably. At least 2. And it's called Meddling Kids by Edgar Cantero. And I know it's about these kids who were teenagers in 1977, and they had a dog. There was a mystery, and they solved it. And then now in 1990, they're in their 20s, and they end up getting back together, and another mystery or something, and having to do with the previous mystery. That's kind of all I know about it, other than it has Scooby-Doo-ish vibes, and this girl right here loved her some Scooby-Doo in the 80s. I don't really like the newer Scooby-Doo stuff, so yeah, so I want to read those in October. The next one I would like to read, this is a thriller, and one of my really good friends, one of my best friends here in Virginia, hi Brandy, it's Stone Maidens by Lloyd Devereaux Richards, and this thriller last year, I believe it was, became really, really big. This book was written originally, and it had been out for several years, and it really hadn't sold much. And Richard's daughter thought it was a great book. I believe she saw like her dad was disappointed it didn't sell more, so she did a TikTok. People started buying it. It became a huge success. I don't know if it's come out yet or not, or if he's still working on it, but he got picked up by a publisher and doing a sequel to this book, but this is the first one in the series. I don't even know if there has a series name because I don't see anything on here, but my friend bought this book and she's like, oh my gosh, there's this girl and her dad is an author and wrote this book. I'm like, Stone Maidens. And she's like, yes. And she's like, I bought it and I've already read it and it's amazing. And so she let me borrow this, I don't know, a while ago, and last year sometime, and so I haven't read it, so I want to read it this October. Those are the 3 ones I'm going to focus on in October, with maybe some cozy fall mystery / just cozy books for fall. Let's see, what would be next? The next one would be, as far as seasonal, would be for Christmas time. And this is A Christmas Carol, The Chimes, and the Cricket on the Hearth by Charles Dickens. I did a book about the man who invented Christmas, I believe it was the name of the book. Here's my answer, yes or no. Here's the picture of the book. And it was talking about Charles Dickens writing this book and what came after writing the book, and how he had to fight for authors' rights as far as royalties and whatnot, because he basically got gypped on it. But something I learned reading that book was that after the success of The Christmas Carol, the next couple of years he wrote The Chimes and The Cricket on the Hearth, but they were never as successful as A Christmas Carol. So it's not a trilogy, but these were just 3 Christmas books that he wrote. And I came across this book at a used bookstore and at the book exchange, and I was like, have to have it, not bad for $3. So I plan on reading all 3 of these at Christmas time, just to see the difference between The Christmas Carol and the other 2 books, and is there a reason why maybe these 2 aren't as popular? Are they not as good? I don't know. So that's something. As I said, I've been reading the Limoncello series. This was like the 0.5, and I haven't read it yet. So this is Mr. Limoncello's very first game, and I think it's about when Mr. Limoncello was little Limoncello. And the first game, so not only does he have this library, but he creates all these different games, and they're wildly popular and people love them. So so this is the first game he ever created. I have one more book, I believe. One more book in the series to read, which is Mr. Limoncello and the Titanium Ticket. I don't know if there are going to be any more books that come out after the Titanium Ticket, but I've read these other books in the series, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. And these are books that I want on my shelves, at least for my daughter down the road, and I would love to read them with her and for us to work out. Rebus, that's what it is, not an e-bus. Work out the little clues and things in there, and so when she's older. Okay, so that's just, I have 2 books between now and the end of the year to work on. I would like to finish that series. That means I would have read the whole series within this year, which would be nice. A series I'd like to at least start this year is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It's a YA book. Most people know about this, so I'm not going to say much. There's a girl, she's poor, and one day she finds out that she inherits a billionaire's fortune. Catches is she has to go live in the mansion with his family for the next year. There's a bunch of puzzles and things that they need to find out, and mainly figure out why she was chosen and not his why his family, like grandkids and stuff, are not chosen. I'd like to at least start this series, and I doubt I'll finish the series by the end of the year, but I want to get that started. Have it up from the library, so I should be reading it anytime soon. Okay. This next one, for sure, I will be reading in November with Bookish Chaz. We're still going through Agatha Christie. We just finished reading this month. We finished reading The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. The time before that was The Murder of the Lynx. And Mysterious Affair at Styles was this year. I think there was one other one that we've done. Anyways, so we're still going through the pro books, and the Big Four is the next one. I know. 4 men were out to rule the earth. One was fabulously powerful Oriental. One was a diabolically brilliant French scientist. One was an incredibly wealthy American. The fourth, and most dangerous, was a master murderer whose identity was cloaked in awesome mystery. This fiendish quartet had every instrument of destruction at their disposal to carry out their plans, and only one man stood in their way. Fortunately, the world. His name is Hercule Poirot. So, that's literally all I know about this book. You heard it here first. That's all I know. Okay. This last book. I don't know if you've noticed up above me those boxes And if you like Brandon Sanderson or have heard his name, you probably heard about his Kickstarter. And last year was the year of Sanderson. I was going to do all the Sanderson reading, and then baby girl came into her life and like turned our worlds upside down. And so all my plans for reading basically went out the window. And as far as reading, I just made reading what I want at this point. I was trying to make a TBR. Impossible. So my plan was to read like Mistborn Era 1 and read mommy brain, other books of his. This right here, I cannot remember. And then I was going to start doing like his secret projects and opening the books, because I know some of the boxes include things about characters in his book. So I still haven't opened a single box. So Elantris. Wait, I'd have to look it up. Hold on. Let me look up where I'm at. I can't. Wait, maybe I can. Hold on. Okay, so I have two different apps. Not sponsored. I have an app called Storygraph, which most people know, but I also have one called Bookly, which I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about, but I use those two because they keep different type of information as far as for my reading. So I can't look up the one on Bookly because I'm reading this book, and you have a timer on the Bookly, and it's stuck on this page, and I don't want to type in the information because I'm going to continue reading it today. Anyway, according to Storygraph, I'm on page 168, I think it was. No, I've already forgotten. Which sounds about right. I have not made it very far into this book. I started reading this book. Let me see if Storygraph tells me that. I don't know. I don't know when I started reading this. It's been months. Literal months. It's a standalone of his. I've heard a lot of people don't enjoy Elantris. For me, it started out very slow, and kind of where I stopped, I was starting to pick up steam, and then just life has happened and I've gone into other books, so I have not picked this up in probably 2 months. It's not that I'm not interested in the story. I am interested in the story. It's just not keeping my attention well enough to continue to go and pick it up. Plus, I put it in a very odd spot, which I should have never done. That's why I don't go back to it. So I would really love to finish this by the end of the year, and then maybe start Mistborn Era. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know which Sanderson book will be my next one. But this baby, I have 3.5 months to finish this, and that is, out of all the books that I need to finish, this one I need to finish by the end of the year. That, yeah. There's other books I've read. I have reached my reading goal for the year, which is nice. My reading goal was 50 books. I'm at 57. I'll probably be close to 70 by the end of the year. I did keep it lower just because I thought with Baby Girl I wasn't going to be able to do a whole lot. I've done a lot of audiobooks, and I've learned that if I don't take some time, I try every day, but some days it just doesn't have to either crochet or read, or like audiobook and crochet or something where I do something that just lets me chill, turn my brain off. Hubby's home, or she's taking a nap, and I don't have to worry about keeping her alive because, toddler, they kind of like kamikaze themselves off stuff and run into things and whatever. I have to take that time for me to kind of just chill, relax, not be thinking about too much, be able to kind of, worlds, books we read to escape and to enter new worlds and to learn new things and stuff. So that's something I've learned I have to do. So I've done a lot of audiobooks. That's the biggest reason why I have so many books done this year. But also having to make reading a priority. And I've borrowed a lot of books from the library this year, so that's been really great. So so reading this year has been much better than I expected. I do feel one of my goals was to read more quality than quantity. For the most part, I feel like I've done, some books have been like, not so great, but I feel like The Martian was a really great book. The Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry, as depressing as that was, I'm glad I read it. I haven't had a drug or alcohol problem, and I don't understand the grip it can have on you. Like, I've had to have pain meds before, and I'm like, I can understand how these become addicted, but I haven't had that tug on me, like, where you feel like you're going to die if you don't have it. So it's just kind of interesting to hear from the mind of an addict how their brains work and what they do. And, like, it's going into homes, like, for open houses when people sit in their homes and, like, sewing medication out of their medicine cabinets. I'm like, I would have never thought about that. So, anyway, but then, like, I read this, and it reminds me about my time in Uganda and the things I learned in Uganda and the friends I made in Uganda, and the family I made in Uganda. And it makes me want to go back and see them and introduce my husband to them. He's never met any of them, and not my daughter yet. Like, she's too young to be going trips into Uganda. But it reminds me about these people that I love, that contact is hard with them. So, anyways, you know, I think I have, in a lot of ways, read quality books. I read a book about critical thinking. I need to do more. I need to kind of work on that. But, yeah, reading so far has been fairly good. And I have completely missed this, and I don't know. Oh, this is an hour long. It may be a two-parter. We'll see when I go to edit. It probably is a two-parter. But I've missed talking, and I feel like this one's probably going to be a two-parter because I don't want to cut anything out, because I'm talking about books that I've shared nothing about for the whole year. So there is that. As far as future plans, I do have some immediate plans for videos. I have a very special book review I'm excited to. I'm reading the book as we speak. Well, not this minute, but, you know, during this time. So I'm very excited about this book review. It's very dear and to my heart. And so I have a book review coming up. I have a big announcement of something I'm going to be working on as far as my reading for the next 2 years, starting in October. And I feel like there was one more video that I had in my mind that has, if I do, it has not left my mind, and it's not that big of a deal. If I think of it while I'm editing, I'll put it somewhere up here. Anyways, I am really going to try to be consistent on here and get back to it. I want to start having discussions about books. I want to grow this channel to meet more people. I want to be able to see. So I'll put my glasses. Oh, here I am. I just want to grow this thing. And it's not about numbers, and it's not about, like, eventually making, that's not what, it's just, I want to meet more people and talk about reading, and not necessarily about the, you know, book that everybody's talking about. I want to talk about books that not everybody's talking about. I'm starting to just go to the library and pick random books that sound interesting to me and read them. And then I want to do book reviews on them. So that's what I'll be doing. Like this book. Yeah, this was, I was going through the YA section and saw this, and I read about it, and I'm like, I'm going to read that. That will be a great book. And so far, I'm correct. It's YA. Definitely an easy, quick read. Spaces between this. I mean, I went from page 123 to 261 in a short amount of time today. It's a very quick read. But, like, just picking up, going to the library, pick up a random book, read it. It's kind of like book Kara's Read Like Graham book, where she's doing it much more, in a way, methodically than I am. She does the spin wheel, and it picks a color. So the book cover, it picks a letter of the alphabet, so the book has to start with that, or the author's last name has to start with that letter. And then a number, which the book has to end in that number. Then there's a fourth one. I don't remember what the fourth one is. Anyways, I'll put it here. And so then she has to pick two of those four things for the book to have. And then, she finds a book and then she reads it. And that's what her grandmother does, is she just goes to the library finds a book that interests her, or picks a random book and just reads it. And I like that idea. And if my grandmother was alive, I would kind of ask her, like, hey, how do you pick books to read? But she read a lot of Janet Oak and stuff like that, and that's not my cup of tea. I don't think. I don't know. I'll discuss Janet Oak in my 2-year project book thing. So if you want to know what that is, keep an eye out for it. I don't know what I'm going to name it yet. I do, but I can't tell you because then it would kind of give it away. Just keep an eye out for either the next video or the video after this one. No, 2 videos from this one. So we'll see. I don't know. Okay, my friends, I am very happy that I am once again attempting to do this. We'll see how well it goes. I'm really, really going to try. I promise. Just go to Bookish Chaz. Ask him how much I'm annoyed that I have not been able to do videos and haven't been able to figure out a system, but I think I have. I'm hoping I figured out a system for this. So anyways, thank you for spending your time with me. I really do appreciate it. I'm happy to be back. So in between now and my next video, I hope you go read a good book, a great book, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, you guys.